Alright guys, so I wired up, got a little jig created here. So my wastegate, I had, remember the video the other day, I had my springs and I was talking about. So if you want to test it, you can basically just create you an air chuck, put some air and force it in there and see where it cracks. Mine's cracking at about 10 pounds. I really kind of wanted it 7, so I've got the little and the medium, so I'm going to get rid of the little because it's 7 on this generation. This is a first gen VNF, so that's important because their second gen is totally different. So I'm going to take this back off real fast, switch out my springs, and go test it again, and I'll take you guys over there and kind of show it to you as I'm doing it. This is not super hard rocket science, guys. It's just basically, you know, get all this where you want it. You know, what you're happy with and what you're shooting for and how much boost you're wanting. Don't strip your screws is key. Try to keep some pressure on that. You know, so hopefully I didn't hurt anything. It kind of gets hard to, and of course they always fall. And then you're going to kick them across the floor, and I've got a ton of junk on the floor. So I got to find all my springs now and screws. I'm missing one. It's on the floor somewhere. So what I did, as you can tell, I have got these, the little one. So I think what I'm going to do, so this one and this one is 6, this one's 5, this one's 7. So maybe if I do that right there, I'm going to get more of the, oh man, once again, careful with your screws, guys, because yeah, they these have a lot, this has a lot of spring pressure to it. So, and these flies are nuts today. Like all of a sudden they've come out of nowhere. I don't really know where they've come from. They're horrible. So anyway, it's a relatively simple process. These screws are a 3 mil. Now I'm actually going to use my air to put this fire valve back in, because if you actually set this up, and you see how easy as it moves the air, it makes it a lot easier to put in. Man, I don't know, guys. I think, you know, they say this one's 7 alone by itself. I'm thinking I may just try it by itself. Just like that. Just completely by itself. And see what that yields me. And this is all important because this will determine, yeah, that seems way too easy, like I can close that on my own. Yeah, that seems way soft. Yeah, that seems way too soft, just having that one spring in there. So I started off with this guy. I'm just going to kind of feel my way for a second, just to feel the difference. That's way soft too. So these are the 2 weaker springs. This one is supposed to create more spring pressure at 7 pounds. It didn't quite feel like 7 pounds right there. Now I know some of you are like, how do you know, dude? How can you feel that? So You just kind of line your grooves up. These flies are horrible. It'd be great if somebody would create a vise tool that would like literally clamp these guys shut. And so my hands are starting to get tired, starting to slip, but I've got one of them started, so I can't stop now. My palm is in the way. So you just kind of get a couple of them started, and then you can kind of relax your hands a little bit. It's kind of nice to be able to do that. But, alright, cool. Now what I'm simply going to do is plug it in. So everybody's may be a little bit different, but that's kind of what you see. And then I just waited for that to go down. And I mean, you can't move it with your hand right now. So for me to get that firing back in it, what I'm going to do is bring y'all back over here. Sorry for the Blair Witch Project there. So I'm going to bring back air. Alright guys, so I've kind of lost track of where my battery let you guys see, but what I did is I took the two big springs with my VNS, and so when I measured them, I don't know if it recorded that or not, my battery died, but I took my little air chuck and I put it on my old hose. I just use this little guy because you can twist them, cheap little Harbor Freight, and then I just crammed it on this hose like that and put this on the bottom of the wastegate right there, and mine's upside down, so if you guys can see that, it's the one closest to the turbo, and that'll move your spring, and that'll allow that firing. So to get that back on, because it's super hard, I just put some air to it, put that on there, and sucked it up, and that firing goes in there, so you don't have to try to jam that firing down with those springs to get that to seal. And as you can tell, it is on there, and it's done. So that's all I did was put that right there on that, and put this to air. And on my regulator, I just set the regulator to 10 pounds. And so I think I'm right at about 9 pounds on those two springs together. They say all three springs should be about, I think the VNS guy told me 5, 6, and 7. So 11, 18 altogether. But I'm finding that basically the single spring only went to about 1 pound, and it claimed to be 5. So no issues with VNS there. Just, you know, I understand the marketing for that reason. So anyway, to change the spring in that, you just take all 6 of these bolts loose on the top of the wastegate there, and the springs in here on that diaphragm, and just line your holes up in there. I think you guys saw me do most of that before my battery died, but Anyway, now we'll get this to command boost, and then I tighten the heck back out of that clamp, and I'm back over on this guy making the alternator bracket again. So, but we'll have some more coming for you in a little while.